Welcome everybody. Welcome back to AP Computer Science A for AP Daily. This is our third video for topic 1.3, expressions and assignment statements. So far we've looked at the basic arithmetic operators. We've talked about using various data types, int versus double, and how we can combine them. And then we looked at compound expressions. We're going to go on with this one, and we're going to talk about, now that we've talked about variables in topic 1.2, and we've talked about doing arithmetic operations in topic 1.3. Now we're going to look at how do we combine those so that we can do a calculation and store the result to a variable. So we're going to introduce, in this video, we're going to specifically introduce the assignment statement. Okay, so we're going to evaluate what's stored in a variable as a result of an expression with an assignment statement. And we're going to talk specifically about the assignment operator, the equal sign. We'll kind of unpack all this when we get to the end and kind of break things down. But I wanted to go ahead and just kind of jump in and talk specifically about the assignment operator. In the last video, we talked specifically about the relationship between Java and, say, a math class that you've taken. The order of operations is the order of operations, regardless of whether you're in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Pre-Algebra, Calculus, or Java. We still follow the same rules in math. This is where things get a little bit different. In an algebra class, for example, the equal sign has a specific meaning. Okay, well, the meaning of the equal sign in Java is a little different. In Java, the equal sign is an instruction. It's telling the compiler to assign the value on the right of the assignment operator, and that's the assignment operator, to the variable that's on the left. And I want to stress the words value and variable. We have a value on the right-hand side. It could be a literal value. It could be a calculated value, but it's on the right-hand side of the equal sign. We have to have some kind of a variable, some kind of a container that we can store that value in on the left-hand side. So an example would be, x equals 7. I can say that I want to take the literal value 7 and assign it to x. So x will now have a value of 7. I can take 8 plus 4 times the value of x, which in this case is 7. I can do a calculation and I can store that result because this is going to evaluate down to a specific value. I can take that value and store it to y. Okay, so that's what our assignment operator does. Again, I'm not asking if those two things are equal. I'm providing an instruction to the calculator, a specific instruction saying to take this one value and put it into this variable. Okay. Okay, so a couple things that we can do. Okay, I want you to notice that I can take a value and assign it to a variable. That's perfectly legal. But I'm not allowed to go the other direction. I can't say 7 equals x. That is not legal because 7 is a literal value. 7 already has a value. It's the value of 7, and I can't change that. If x has a value stored within it of 3, I can't suddenly say take the value of 3 and assign it to 7. Okay, 7 is a numeric value. It's a number. It already has its own value. So we can only go one direction. We can only assign something from right to left. And I have to make sure that it's a value on the right being assigned to a variable on the left. Okay, so we have to be careful about that a little bit. As far as operator precedence, we've talked in past videos about parentheses and then multiplication, division, and modulus, and addition, subtraction. Well, now we're adding this assignment operator. It also fits into our order of operations. So after I've done everything else, okay, to this point, the equal sign is going to be the assignment operator, the last thing that we do. And I want you to notice that when we're evaluating parentheses, multiplication, division, modulus, addition, subtraction, we work from left to right. With the assignment operator, we work from right to left. And I'm going to explain what that means in just a second. Okay, so we're going to do a little live demo. I'm going to jump out to a little program I use in my class to demonstrate kind of what's going on behind the scenes. Notice I've got our little program here. I've got int x equals 7, int y equals 8 plus 4 times x, and I've got a double value z equals 8 plus 4.1 plus x. Then we're going to display the results. The reason I like this little program for doing demonstrations is it lets us walk through and see what's going on behind the scenes. And what I want you to notice is I'm declaring a space to store each of my variables. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. The first thing that's going to happen is we're going to do all of our evaluations. We said that multiplication comes first. Okay, and then I'm going to take the 28 from my multiplication. We now go back and we do our addition. 28 plus 8 equals 36. And then the last thing that happens is we have this equal sign where it's going to say, okay, take the value of 36 and actually store it in the variable y. So that's the last thing that happens before we move on. Now we're going to declare a variable z for a double. We're going to go out and we're going to start our operation, which is going to be 8 plus 4.1, and that's going to give us 12.1. Now we're going to take the 12.1 and we're going to add it to the value that's stored in X, which is going to be 7. And after we find our final value, the last thing that happens is it gets stored back into the variable Z. So we do our assignment operator to assign the value 19.1 back to Z. And then the last thing that happens is we display all the results. And this is kind of fun in this program too. The little hand reaches up and actually grabs them and puts them on the screen for us. Okay, so that's a little bit of a live demo. You know, again, I just kind of wanted to run that program so that we could actually see that the last thing happening was the assignment operator. The assignment operator is going to be the last thing that actually takes the calculated value from the right and moves it over to the left. Let me jump back here. Okay, the other thing I wanted to point out, notice we said that the assignment operator works right to left. Okay, I can use multiple assignment operators in the same line, but what's going to happen because I'm moving right to left is the first thing that's going to happen is we'll take 7 and assign it to Z. And then as we work right to left, we're going to take the value that's in Z and assign it to Y. And then we're going to take the value that's in Y and assign it to X. So we can work from right to left doing our assignments as we go. Okay, now, in a second, I'm going to ask you to pause. I'm going to ask you to pause the video because this is the point where we're actually going to start working with writing code on paper. Okay, as we prep for the AP exam, that's going to be an important skill to have. The AP exam is typically a paper-based exam, so we need to get some practice writing code on paper. So on a piece of paper, what I would like you to do is write the code to do the following. Okay, I want to declare an integer variable called first value and set its initial value to 13. Then I want to declare a double variable called second value and set its initial value to 18.5. And then finally, I want to declare a third variable. So think about the required type. Think back to what we talked about in past videos about doing operations involving multiple data types. And I want this to be called sum of values. And I want to set its value to the sum of first value and second value. Okay, so when you're ready, go ahead and pause, and then after you've had a chance to write out the code, don't worry about doing class declarations and things like that. We're just talking about these 3 lines of code. Once you've got that done, go ahead and press play again, and we'll pick up from here, and we'll kind of walk through this. Okay, so go ahead and pause. All right, welcome back. So the first thing we wanted to do is declare an integer variable called first value and set its initial value to 13. So if you look at what we've got on the screen, we've got our int first value equals 13. The next thing we need to do is declare a double variable called the second value and set its initial value to 18.5. So double second value equals 18.5. And then finally, the third thing we said we were going to do was declare a third variable, and I kind of prompted you a little bit to think about the required type. Remember in a past video, we said that if I add a double and an int, I'm going to get a double result, which means that I need to store this in a double variable. If I try and store it in an int, it's going to give me an error saying that it can't do that. Okay, so we're going to have a double sum first value plus second value to find the sum of the first value and the second value. So we'll take the value in first value, we'll add it to the value in second value. Once we found the sum, then the last thing that will happen will be that value will be assigned to the variable sum. Okay, that's our video for today. So here are our key takeaways. First thing, we wanted to make sure that we learn how to evaluate what is stored in a variable as a result of an expression with an assignment statement. Okay, the essential little knowledge pieces, the assignment operator, the equal sign allows a program to initialize, to set its initial value or change the value stored in a variable. We always do this moving from right to left. During execution, expressions are evaluated to produce a single value. So, we looked at examples that included compound expressions, but before that assignment takes place, we evaluate those expressions down to a single value. That single value is then assigned to the variable on the left-hand side. And the value of an expression has a type based on the evaluation of the expression. So, if I'm working with an int and an int, I'm going to get an int result that can then be assigned to an int variable. If I'm working with a double and an int, remember, we always end up the result is going to be whatever the biggest data type is, so I have to have a variable prepped to store whatever that data type would happen to be. Okay. Thank you for watching. Again, please continue to watch all of the following videos. I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see you the next time.